To start today, you can just sit on your knee with your knees bent, just with your butt on your heels, and just bring your hands onto your thighs. And then just take a nice big inhale. You can close your eyes if you'd like. And think about your ribs really expanding in all directions. And then exhale, sort of let the front of your ribs fall, let your whole rib cage kind of collapse in. And then exhale as you feel it. Expand wide to the sides and back behind you. And then exhale. But this time, take your inhale. And as you exhale, start to feel your hip bones draw gently towards one another, that pull up and wrap in of the belly button, and then the closing of your ribs. And then exhale or inhale as you let that all go. And last time, this time, think about the lift of the pelvic floor, which helps bring those ribs and lower abdominals wrapped, and then feel like someone is sort of tightening a corset around the rest of your abdominals. One more time, inhale, and then exhale here. Bring your arms up all the way towards the ceiling, and then bring your hands behind your head. Go ahead and just cradle your skull, like the base of your skull, with your hands, and then just think about drawing the base of your skull up to lengthen your neck in the back, but still keeping the length through the front of your throat. And then you're just going to side bend up and over towards the right, and then rotate down towards the floor. And then rotate back to face front, and come all the way up. We're going to stay on the right side. We're going to do that 3 more times. So side bend up and over towards the right. Really thinking about lengthening through the left side of your body, but not collapsing through the right. And then think about lengthening both sides as you rotate torso towards the floor, and then rotate to the front and back up. 1 more time. Over to the right, lengthening both sides. Keep reaching long through your elbows. Press your head back into your hands so you're not shoving your chin to your chest. And then rotate to the center and up. Over to the left side now. So over to the left, rotate towards the floor, and then back to the front and up. And just think about the differences. Take a second to notice between the right and the left side. Maybe your right knee wants to pop up off the ground this time, but your left leg didn't. And then over 1 more time to the left and down to the floor. And this time you're going to round all the way forward and then open up towards the right. And then bring your torso back until you're facing front. And then come up tall, over to the right, round forward towards the floor, then round all the way forward, open up as you bring yourself up and over towards the left. 1 more time in each direction as this like little circle. You can smooth it out if that feels good. Again, keep pressing your head back into your hands so your chin is not resting on your chest. Over to the right, forward, and back up. And then here, just let your arms fall by your sides. Bring your hands down onto the ground and come into a nice all fours position. Hands right underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips. And then just let your torso, your sternum sink down towards the floor. Your shoulder blades are going to come in towards one another. And then press through all 10 fingers, the whole front of your hand, or whole underside of your hand and your fingers as you press that spine up towards the ceiling, shoulder blades away from your spine. And then again, sink down, let your shoulder blades slide in, and then have them slide out. Really just focusing on the glide of your scapula. And down. And up. 3 more. 2. And last one. And then pause here at not quite the top, but in that nice neutral where your shoulder blades are flat on the mat, sort of with a nice distance between your the shoulder blades and your spine. And then keeping your upper body as it is. Think about drawing just your hip bones up towards your ribs, so you're lengthening out that low back. And then think about distancing the hip bones from the ribs, arching your only low back. And then again, round that tailbone under, and then back, staying out of the upper back. And then here, if you'd like to bring your left hip up by your left ribs, and then lengthen out to the center, and then right hip up towards your right rib. And then center. Hello, Julio. And then over to the left. and center. Last time to the right and center. And then from here, you're just going to curl your tailbone under, keep reaching your tailbone towards the floor, but now press the floor away, let your upper back arch. So you're in a full C curve here. And then think about widening the sitting bones, keeping the upper back rounded as you find that arch through the low back, the mid back, and then finally the upper back. And looking forward. And then again, start at the base of your spine, going all the way up towards your head, which is the last thing to fall, nice and slowly here. And last one. And press all the way up. Last time. And then come into a nice neutral spine here. Extend your right leg up towards the ceiling so your thigh is in line with the floor. If you'd like to come down onto your forearms here, you absolutely can. I will do so. And just gently think about pulling either the elbows or the heels of your hands back towards your knees. And then you're just going to lower that right knee towards the floor and then lift it right back up. Don't worry about keeping your leg in perfect 90-90. No one will give you demerits if you don't. Just think about lifting from the thigh and down and up and down. Keeping those hips nice and square to the floor. 3 more. 2. Last one, leave it at the top. You're going to let your knee drop about an inch and then press it up an inch and then down an inch and up for 8, 7, 6, 5 little pulses more. 4, 3, 2, like the sole of your foot is going to the ceiling. Last one. You're going to internally rotate the thigh, upper leg, and then tap it down towards that left calf, and then bring it back to neutral as you lift it up. So internally rotate as you drop, tap your right knee to your left calf, and then back to neutral at the top. Tap and lift. And lift. 4 more. 3, 2, last one, pause at the top. 10 more tiny little pulses, just lifting up, 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 up for 6, 4, 3, 2, and last one, lower that knee all the way down. You're going to stay on your left forearm and right hand, so however you have to readjust, go for it. And you're going to lift that right leg right off the ground again. And you're going to lift it open to the side, bringing it just in line your knee with your hip, and then lower it back down. So there is a bit of rotation through the hips here to lift that leg up to hip height. And if you don't get all the way to hip height, no worries, but don't really go any higher than that. You have 6 more. 5, 4, 3 more. 2. Last one, pause with that leg long. You're going to press it out to the diagonal. So you may be lifted up a little or just more or less in line with your hip. Either one is fine. You're going to bring that knee towards your upper arm and extend. And bring it into the upper arm and extend. 6 more. 5, 4, 3, using your arm or your hand and your forearm to help keep you stable. 2, last one, leave that leg long, tap it down, and lift for 8, 7, good, 6, hips are still, slightly rotated out to the side, 4, 3, 2, and last one, bring that knee in underneath you, and then come up to all fours here, and bring your right leg between your hands and slide that left knee back a bit. Take a second here to take a nice hip flexor stretch. You can keep your hands down, or you can come up onto your hands on your right thigh. Getting that nice hip flexor stretch in that left leg, and then bring your hands down, and then you're just going to tuck your left knee underneath your right, and you're going to sit with your knees stacked one on top of the other as best you can. If this is uncomfortable, you are just going to extend your left leg long, keeping your right knee bent. And then from here, lift your arms all the way up towards the ceiling, and you're going to rotate around to the right. Taking a nice few deep breaths here, trying to relax through the hips as best you can, getting that outer hip stretch on the right side. And then you're going to bring your left hand down towards the floor and side bend over to the left. And then up and over to the right. And then coming all the way up, you're going to uncross your legs and come onto all fours again. So same thing, if you want to be on your forearms or on your hands, your choice. I will start on my forearms, but regardless, feel the heels of the hands, those elbows draw back towards your hips. And now your left knee is just going to bend and then lift your thigh up towards the ceiling and then tap it down. And lift. And down. And lift. For 6. 5, making sure your right knee is underneath your hip. It hasn't creeped in or isn't too far away. And that your hips are square to the ground. 2 more. Last time you're going to leave it up and then pulse it up for 10. 9. 6. 5. 4. Almost think about just squeezing your butt. It can be the world's tiniest movement where maybe you don't even move. 2. Last one. And then lower it all the way down. Internally rotate the thigh. Tap the left knee to the right calf and then lift it up to center in neutral. Internally rotate, lift to neutral. Internally rotate as you drop and then lift. And up. And up. 5 more. 4. 3. 2. Last one, and then 10 tiny pulses again for 10. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, lower your knee down. Come onto your left hand, right forearm. And then from here, you are just going to open up that left leg to the side and then lower it down. And lift it up and down. We're doing 12 of these. So you have 9 left. And again, the hand and your forearm are to give you a little bit of support to let those hips open up to the side. And open. 4 more. 3, and then we're going to leave it lifted. 2. Last one, pause at the top. Extend the leg back behind you. Bring it in like you're going to touch. Maybe you can. I cannot. That knee to your upper arm. And extend. 6 more. 5. And we're going to get those nice stretches. Leg is facing front. Your knee is facing away from you, not towards the floor. Your hips are slightly opened. Last one, pause with that leg long, tap it down, and then lift for 8. 7, resist down, pause at the top for 5. 4, even if that pause is a millisecond, just make sure you're not using momentum to flop your leg up and down. 3, 2, last one, lower that leg down, come onto both hands, and then bring that left knee forward between your hands, slide your right leg back slightly, and find yourself in a nice hip flexor stretch here. Again, you can come up onto that thigh, if that feels good. Ooh. And then from here, slide your right knee underneath your left. And then just take a second here, take a nice breath in. Again, if this is too much, extend your right leg long, lift your arms up, and then twist over to the left. And then take a few breaths here, trying to relax into your hips a little. And then gently untwist yourself, bring your right hand down to the floor. Side bend up and over to the right. And then from here, undoing your legs, coming onto that right side. you are going to bring your forearm to the ground and you're going to stack your left leg over your right leg, but your left leg is going to be long. Your hips are going to be square to the front. Make sure they haven't opened, nice and stacked. And then you're just going to lift yourself up into a nice modified side plank here. Again, check your hips, make sure they haven't twisted. And then tap your hips down and lift up. And tap and lift. Make sure that right arm is almost drawing underneath you, not slipping away, keeping that underside of your body engaged for 3, 2, last one, and then lower all the way down. Bring your knees stacked one on top of the other and bring your hands behind your head here. And then make sure you have a little bit of space behind you. You're going to open up through the torso and then coming right back. Again, elbows are stacked, sort of framing your face with your biceps, and then you're going to open all the way up. Keep reaching that left top knee away so that you haven't gone into rotating your hips. You really want to focus on just rotating through the torso. And forward, and one more time opening up like this. And then let your hips roll all the way onto the ground so that you are facing the ceiling. And your hands are behind your head. And now we're going to do a little flexion here. So hips are nice and heavy on the mat. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up, drawing the ribs towards the hips. Let the head drop back into the hands so you have that little bit of space for like a clementine or so underneath the chin. And then from here, you're going to bring your right leg up and tap it down. And left leg up and tap down. Keeping nice and stable through the torso. If this is maybe too much with your hands behind your head, but you want to add on, you can bring the arms by your side, or you can lower your head and do this just lifting and lowering your legs. You're going to lift your right leg, leave it, lift your left leg. And then from here, tapping your right leg down and lift, and left leg taps and lift. And if you just lower it a few inches, go for it. Go to the range of motion that works for you. Making sure that your abdominals are not puffing up towards the ceiling. You are starting your breath before you move. Good, you can always use a hand to sort of give you a little bit of feedback here. One more time to each side. Last one. Lower your right leg all the way to the ground. Lower your left leg all the way down. Lengthen your torso down. And then you can just give your knees a little rock from one side to the other. And then next time they come to the left side, roll over onto your left side. So left forearm is on the ground, right leg is long, but your legs are sort of stacked one on top of the other to help you get those hips in place. Left arm drawing in underneath you, engaging through the armpit and left side. Hand can be on your hip or up towards the ceiling, your choice. And then lift those hips up and then tap them down and lift and tap. For 8, 7, 6. If you're looking to progress this, we will. Don't worry. So try to keep that knee on the ground for now. For 4, 3, really keeping those hips facing forward. 2, last one. Lower all the way down. Bring your knees in a little bit more towards your chest. Hands behind your head. And then from here, you're just going to find that nice rotation. Again, only through the torso. Keep reaching forward with both knees, but particularly the right knee that's on top. And open. Ooh. 2 more. Get a nice stretch in my chest on this side. And if your chest is also feeling tight, we will do a little chest stretching here shortly. And last one, pause for a second in your nice rotation. And then when you're ready, let yourself come onto your back. Hands are still behind your head. You're going to bring your right leg into tabletop, left leg up to meet it. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Again, we're going to move on here. So we're going to extend the right leg and then bend it back in. And extend the left and bend it back in. Extend both legs together. Bend them back in. Right leg, left leg, both legs. Press the head back into the hands, creating that space between your chin and your chest. Both legs. 2 more. Both. And right. And left. Last time, both. Bring them both in. And then from here, you're going to extend your right leg, twist over to the left, and switch. And switch. Going nice and slowly, focusing on the rib towards the opposite hip. Don't worry about whether or not the elbow touches the knee. For 3, 2, making sure you're breathing. Head is pressing back into the hands. Last one. Bring both knees in and gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. From here, grab behind the thighs and rock yourself up. We did this last week in the classical mat class, and we haven't done rolling like a ball in a long time, and I love it, so we're gonna do it again. So, come to the end of your mat, and you are going to grab on to your shins, and you're gonna pull those heels in towards your butt until they can no longer be on the mat anymore, and they're just floating in the air. From here, you're gonna round your upper spine slightly, have your gaze be at your stomach or pelvis, and then from here, take a nice big inhale, and then as you exhale, feel the space between your hips and your thighs, or hips and thighs and your torso, as you sort of round through that low back so much that you just roll back onto your shoulders, and then you pop all the way back up, just coming to your shoulder blades. You don't want to be rolling on your neck. 2 more. Last one. Pause at the top. From here, grab behind the thighs, keeping those feet off the floor. And you're just going to extend both legs and then press the hands into the thighs and create some space so you find yourself in a boat pose or teaser, depending on when you often do this. If this feels comfortable and you want to release the support of your hands, you're just going to extend both hands and then slowly roll yourself all the way down. Tuck that tailbone under and then lower everything all the way down. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And then don't knock your drink over if you have one near you. And then you're going to bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Press through the hands. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Shoulder blades off the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Draw your ribs toward your hips. And then roll up and over your legs. From here in this rounded position, you're going to create that space in the front of your hips as you roll back halfway. And then here you're going to bring your right forearm and then your left forearm back behind you. Come all the way back onto your mat if you need. So from here, you are having your palms facing down, fingers towards your hips, and then you're sinking down into your shoulders. So I don't know. I feel like I'm inside of my collarbone. It's not particularly comfortable. So press the floor away. Find that space in the front of your chest and the back of your chest as well. Once you have that nice support, you're going to let yourself sink down again. Just like we were doing with the scapula glides before, press up. We are just on our forearms in a different direction this time. And then up. If you feel like there's maybe a little bit of limitation from shoulder flexibility or you're tight through the chest, this will be a nice strengthening stretch kind of combo here. We will also stretch our chest soon. Last one. Press up. Good. From here, you're going to bring your right leg into tabletop and your left leg to meet it. Keep pressing that floor away. Your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. You're going to glue your heels together, create that Pilates V with your feet, and then externally rotate through the legs as much as is comfortable. So your knees and toes are in line with one another. And here you're going to squeeze those heels together, zip up through the inner thighs, extend the legs, and bring them back in. And you can always turn to have fists on the ground if the flat hand is not comfortable. The higher up towards the ceiling you go, the less sort of intense, not in a you're not getting anything out of it way, but you will find more support by going higher up towards the ceiling. Think about zippering through the thighs and unzipping as you bring them in for 4. Knees can come past that 90 degrees into your chest. 3, 2, and last one. Pause with them long, lower down an inch or two, and bring them up. And then lower down an inch or two. Squeeze them together, bring them up. If this reminds you of feet and straps on a reformer, perfect. That's where I got this from. 4 more. Press the floor away. 3, 2, knees can be soft. Last one, bend the knees all the way in, and then plant the feet on the ground. Let your knees sway from one side to the other. Let yourself sink down towards the floor. Reset. We're going to do one more thing here. Bring the right leg into tabletop. Bring the left leg to meet it. You're going to extend your left leg out to the side. Bring your right knee in. Right leg out to the side, left knee in. And switch. So if you were on the reformer, this would be like stag or Peter Pan, depending on who your teacher is, what they call it. 4 more. 2. Last one. Julio heard a beep and got scared. Last time to the left. Last time to the right. Bring your knees all the way in and then just roll back onto your back and give yourself a nice little rock here from one side to the other. Bring your feet down towards the floor, and then you're going to come into goalpost arms here. And then with those goalpost arms, you're just going to take a nice deep breath in and curl that tailbone under. And then peel yourself up into a nice bridge. And if you've come too high and your shoulder blades are reaching off the floor, you're going to lower down, sink through the chest. You want your whole shoulder blade on the floor, and then peel yourself all the way back down. Think about melting one vertebrae at a time, all the way down. And then curl the tailbone under and lift up. And again, peel yourself back down. Good. Pause with your hips here. You're going to extend the arms overhead only so far as you can, keeping the fingertips on the floor. And then pause when your fingertips have lifted and your back is no longer flat on the floor. And then draw your elbows back down to that goalpost starting position. And then again, reach overhead, extend. Find that spot where you have a stretch. If you want to just hang out here and sort of do like an inch back and forth, whatever feels good. If not, we're going to do 3 more just like this. And in, 2, and in. Last one. And then bring your arms all the way in. And then from here, bring them up and in line with your face. So your elbows are bent right over your shoulders, fingertips are reaching back, and you don't have your arms all the way together. They're like even with sort of a face space in between. Press through your feet. Think about your heels dragging back towards your glutes as you pick your hips straight up. From here, leave your hips lifted. You're going to open your arms out to the side in that goalpost position, and then bring them back in. And then open them out to the side, and bring them in. 4 more. Keep reaching those knees long, gentle tuck under through the hips, or through the glutes rather, tailbone, opening through the front of the hips. 2. Make sure your arms go all the way to the ground. Last one. Pause with the arms all the way on the floor. Reach them overhead. Notice if your range of motion maybe changes, or wow, I feel a stretch now like in my mid-back along my spine on the right side, which is interesting. Pull them back in. And again, overhead for 6. Go at your own pace here. 4. Keeping those arms dragging on the ground. 3. 2. Last one. And then bring those arms up in front of your face one more time. Lower the hips down. Lift the hips as you open the arms. Close the arms as you lower the hips. And lift as you open. lower as you close. Not quite touching those hips to the ground. Open as you lift. Touch as you close. And open. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one. Pause here. Rotate your arms towards the floor and then bring them all the way down long by your side. Feel how nice and open your chest is. Nice and stable on the floor. And you're going to come onto your heels on the right and left foot together. You can bring your heels in a little closer towards your glutes if you need. And you're going to drop your hips down and press up. And drop down and press up. Keeping those heels hovering. They don't need to be very high, maybe like even a 1/4 inch off the ground, but whatever height you've chosen, try to keep them there. For 4. 3. 2. Last one. Lower the heel on the right foot and bring the left foot up into tabletop. And then from here, lower the hips and lift and lower and lift. For 6. 5. Keep reaching that right knee long. Hips are nice and square. Last one, lower that leg down on the left side. Square your hips off. Take a second. Reset. And then when you're ready, right leg comes up into tabletop. Tap the hips down and lift. And down and lift. For 6. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one. And then lower that leg down. You can either leave your arms where they are or you can bring them all the way up overhead. Think like you're holding onto like a bar that's along the floor and then peel yourself down 1 vertebrae at a time. Really tuck through that low back. Let your sacrum touch. And then bring your knees into your chest and gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. Plant the left leg and extend the right leg long. Arms reach overhead, and as soon as they get to your peripheral, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up, coming into this little ab prep here, and lower all the way down. 3 more just like that, with a slight little roll up and down. Last one. And down. This time you can lower your leg down a little bit more if you need. More or less like in that same general angle, right and left leg, or right and left thighs. And this time you're going to pause and then exhale as best as you can. Roll all the way up into a single leg teaser. You can always bring your hands behind your thighs to help you get up or to help you get back down as you roll down. 2 more like this. Hands overhead. Exhale, pause. Inhale here. Exhale, lift everything up. And then roll all the way back down. Last one. And lift. And lower all the way down. And then lower your, right leg, lift your left, extend it. So first that just beginning ab prep lift with that left leg extended and then lower all the way down. Arms overhead. Press through the hands, curl through the head, neck, and shoulders, ribs towards your hips. Make sure your left hip hasn't hiked. You are reaching that left sitting bone towards your right heel. And this time we're going to add on. So extend the arms. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Inhale. Exhale. Keep rolling up. And then lower all the way down. And then inhale. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Inhale. Exhale. Lift. Can I help you? And then lower all the way back down. 1 more time. Pause. Ribs towards your hips as you exhale. Reach. And lift, and then grab behind both thighs, and then roll all the way back. Good. From here, bring your knees into your chest, and you can bring your knees like wide towards your shoulders if that feels nice. Gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. And then when you're ready, bring your legs parallel. Press the thighs into the hands. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Julio, please stop. Stop. And then if you don't have a dog in your way, keep pressing. Please stop. And then extend your legs. Keep pressing them into your hands. And then from here, you're going to extend your right arm, extend your left arm, and then roll all the way down. If you need to bend your knees to roll down, that's fine. Bring your knees back into your chest. Julio. I apologize. Okay, hands behind your thighs again. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. press the thighs into the hands as you start to open through the back of your legs. Rock yourself up. It's possible that the computer is going to move in a second. I apologize in advance. And then lengthen the arms away from the thighs. Pause. And then roll everything all the way down. Bring your knees back into your chest. One more time. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Press the thighs to help lift you up. Open through the front of the chest. Extend your legs long. And then you're going to lengthen your right leg down towards the ground, and then your left leg, and then roll all the way back, one vertebrae at a time. Reach the arms up overhead. Take a nice big stretch. We're going to do one final full teaser, but if you're not comfortable, go back to the version we just did. So, arms and legs reaching away from one another. Start to lift the arms as your back ribs find the floor. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Reach the hands forward. From here, eyes and toes lift at the same height. Keep curling through the torso, or tailbone, and then lengthen through the torso when you're up. Hold here for 3, 2, last one. Lower all the way down, one vertebrae at a time. Tuck the tailbone under. Eyes and toes at the same rate. Lower everything down. One more big stretch. And then roll over onto your stomach. Hands underneath, or rather, forearms underneath your shoulders, hands on the floor, and then just let yourself sort of sink down to the floor. Head can be rounded towards the ground, and then from here, your shoulder blades are like sort of smushing you. In by your shoulders, you're going to lengthen through the head so that your gaze is slightly forward, and then press the floor away. Find that lift through the spine. Shoulder blades gently drawing away from the spine. Abdominals are coming with you, but if they're still touching the floor, that's totally fine. Either way, you need your tailbone tucked under. And then from here, let your shoulder blades sink in. My belly's going to press into the ground. And then press the floor away as you lift up. And then back down. 4 more. Going at your own pace here. Your head just sort of goes along for the ride. I kind of think of being a little turtle here. Lift. Last one, you're going to pause at the top. You're going to look to the right. You're going to lengthen your head down. You're going to drag your chin along your collarbone. Look to the left, and then look center. Think about drawing those elbows back towards your hips. Find a little bit more extension if you can. Gaze to the left. Look down. Drag your chin around your collarbone. Look to the right and center. And then lower yourself all the way down. Make a pillow for your hands and give your hips a little shake. Good. From here, bring your forearms, or your hands rather, underneath your shoulders. Your nose is touching down towards the floor. You're going to tuck your toes under, and you're going to lengthen through the heels so that the leg, even including the thigh, reaches off the ground. Draw your elbows back by your sides. If you would like to lift up into a kneeling plank, untuck your toes, and you're good from there. But either way, you're going to take a nice big inhale. Exhale, press the floor away. Your hips and head lift at the same rate. You're going to twist your feet over to the right and open up to the right side in a nice little side plank here. And then you're going to lengthen your hand back towards the floor. You can do all of this on your knees as well. You're going to open up towards the left. Hand is staying right underneath that shoulder as you come back to the center. Find that nice long plank. Bend the elbows back towards your hips as you lower all the way down. Untuck your toes. Lift your hands off the ground and find a nice little extension here. Just a little one. Lower your hands back towards the floor. Tuck the toes under. Reach back through the heels. Press the floor away with your inhale. And rotate and open towards the right. And down. And left. And down. All the way down, lowering towards the floor nice and slowly. Lift the hands and feet off the ground. Keep the toes reaching towards the floor. This one I'll do on my knees. Press up. If you're going to open towards the right, you can even keep your right leg extended, just the left leg bends. And then center. And then over to the other side. Or you're doing this in a full kneeling plank. And then you're lowering all the way down. We're doing this 3 more times. Lift everything all the way up. Tuck those toes under. Press the floor away. Open up towards the right. And down. Towards the left. and down. Pause in your plank. Lower all the way down nice and slowly. Lift up. 2 more. Press the floor. Open towards the left. Right, rather. Whatever. One side and then the other. Over to the other side. Now pausing in your plank in the center to find yourself in that nice form, lowering all the way down to the floor. Last time, lift. Press the floor away. Open towards one side. If you want, drop your hip and lift to the center. Over to the left, lift. If you want, dip your hip once here. Pause in this nice plank here. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Bend the knees towards the floor. Lengthen your chest towards the ground and your thighs. And then slightly straighten your legs as best you can. Keep reaching that tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then lower your knees all the way down. You're going to come to a tall kneeling position. Bring your hands on the floor. And bring your right leg out to the side. And then just sit back and come forward. You can tuck those left toes underneath if it feels good. Getting a nice stretch through the adductor, inner thigh here. 2 or 3 more. Last one. And then come forward. And then walk your hands over to the left. Plant your left hand and open up. I'm going to untuck my left toes. Reach your hand up towards the ceiling and then bring it overhead for a nice side stretch from toe to fingertips. Julio. Thank you. And then round forward, let your hips come back. Bring your hands onto the ground and then switch sides. So right knee underneath you. I'm going to tuck those right toes under. Left leg out to the side, left toes point forward. Coming back and forth, getting a nice stretch through that left inner thigh. 2 or 3 more times, going at your own pace, whatever feels nice. Next time you come forward, pause. Untuck the right toes. Make sure that the right knee is underneath the hip. And then walk yourself over to the right. Press the hips forward. And then side bend up and over for a nice side stretch here. And then round forward. Bring your hands to the floor. Bring both knees in and then come back to sit on your heels like we started class. Hands behind your head. I'm going to start just how we ended, but add a little extension as well. So let your tailbone be nice and heavy. Side bend up and over to the right. Round the torso forward. Coming back to the right. But this time you're going to lengthen back behind you. Find a little extension. And then front and over to the left. And then twist your torso towards the floor. And then rotate front. And then lift up. Find a little bit of extension here. Drop the shoulders, relax them. Over to the right, round forward. Bring it all the way forward. Open up towards the left. And then lengthen to the back. Find that bit of extension. And then over to the left, round forward. One of my favorite instructors ends class always with like a nice little spiral, and it's so lovely. So thanks to her for this. And one more time over to the right and forward and lift up. And then pause in the center, lift your arms straight up towards the ceiling, externally rotate them, let the arms and shoulders drop as the crown of your head grows nice and tall up towards the ceiling. And then your arms are going to find your side, and you are all finished. Thanks so much.